Let's be real. Cheating doesn't just come out of nowhere. It builds like a slow leak in your roof. You don't notice it until the whole damn ceiling collapses. But here's what no one tells you, a truth often ignored by the very men who need to hear it most. A woman who cheats never does it without leaving signs. It's never silent. It's never clean. And it's never without deep, fracturing cracks in the foundation of the relationship. The problem? Most men, driven by hope or perhaps a fear of confrontation, often ignore those cracks. They tell themselves, she's just busy, she's just tired, she just needs space. But behind that seemingly innocent excuse, there's a man who knows, deep in his gut, that something is fundamentally off. He just doesn't have the strength, or perhaps the vocabulary, to articulate that unsettling dread out loud yet. Have you ever felt that gut punch? That quiet, persistent dread that whispers, something ain't right here? If that resonates, this one's for you. Consider Alex, a man who built his life on trust and dedication. He poured his energy into his relationship, believing in open communication and unwavering commitment. Yet, he started noticing these subtle, unsettling shifts. His partner, Sarah, who was once his confidant, began to feel distant, her laughter less genuine, her eyes holding a new, unreadable quality. Alex, outwardly confident, felt his internal world tremble. He couldn't pinpoint it, but the emotional landscape of their relationship was shifting, making him question his own perceptions and her true intentions. This quiet erosion of connection is often the first, most painful sign of a deeper betrayal brewing. This isn't just about catching a cheat. It's about understanding the complex, often heartbreaking psychological journey that leads to betrayal, and crucially, how to recognize the often missed signals. This video will dive deep into the Carl Jung psychology of betrayal, explore the unconscious mind at play, and offer a Stoic mindset approach to navigating such profound emotional challenges. We'll uncover why these signs are always present and how mastering your own emotional control can empower you to protect your peace. In this powerful discussion, I will reveal the unmistakable signs a woman exhibits when her emotional and physical investment shifts elsewhere. By the end of this video, you won't just understand what to look for. You'll grasp the why behind these behaviors, equipping you with the discernment to protect your heart and your personal growth. This insight is crucial for your healing journey and for building truly authentic relationships in the future. If you're ready to stop guessing, stop overthinking, and start trusting your gut, hit that subscribe button right now. And tell me in the comments below, have you ever felt that nagging intuition, that sense that something was deeply wrong, even when everything seemed fine on the surface? Let's talk about it. Sign 1. Her attention shifts and she pretends it hasn't. You don't need a PhD in psychology to feel it. The vibe changes. One day, she's warm, curious, deeply invested in your world. The next, it's like you're talking to a stranger wearing her face. She stops asking about your day, no longer laughs at your stories with genuine delight. And hell, she even forgets things she used to remember without trying, things that mattered to you. This subtle, chilling withdrawal is the first crack in the foundation, a sign that her unconscious mind has begun to drift. And when you bring it up, she'll hit you with, "You're overthinking. I've just been tired. You're being insecure." This is a classic deflection, a dismissal designed to make you doubt your own intuition and emotional control. But here's the truth, brother. Women don't pull away randomly. They pull away when their emotional or energetic investment shifts elsewhere. Whether it's another man, a compelling fantasy, or just the idea of escape, the focus is no longer on you. And that's the first real undeniable crack. Alex felt this shift acutely with Sarah. She used to be the one who'd remember his small victories at work, who'd prod him for details about his day, truly listening. Now, her responses were terse, her gaze distant. He'd share an exciting development, and she'd offer a polite nod, her eyes already on her phone. When he gently brought up his concern, "Hey, I feel like we haven't been as connected lately," she sighed. "You're always so demanding, Alex. I just need space. You're being clingy." Her words felt like a cold stone in his stomach. He questioned himself, but the hollowness persisted. His journey of personal growth and self-awareness was being challenged at its core. From a Carl Jung psychology perspective, this shifting attention is often a manifestation of a split in her psyche. Her persona, the outward mask she presents to you in the world, remains intact, trying to maintain normalcy. But herself, her true, evolving psychological center, is detaching, becoming preoccupied elsewhere. This inner conflict, rooted in her own shadow, leads to the diminished presence you feel. She is emotionally compartmentalizing, creating a psychological distance to manage her internal dissonance. This isn't about you lacking. It's about her inner world already moving on, a deep challenge to your Stoic mindset to remain grounded. The Stoic mindset teaches us to discern what is within our control and what is not. You cannot control her shifting attention or her deceptive words, but you can control your response to the information your intuition is giving you. Instead of clinging, observe. Instead of arguing, acknowledge the facts presented by her behavior. This detachment, this calm observation, is crucial for your healing and for maintaining your inner peace. If her jokes always sting, if you feel anxious around their humor, if you laugh with everyone else but cry alone later, that's not friendship, that's psychological warfare. But this shift in attention is just the beginning. What happens when this emotional withdrawal solidifies into a pattern of deliberate secrecy, where even the smallest details of her life become shrouded in mystery? Sign 2. She starts hiding the small stuff. Cheating doesn't begin in the bedroom. It starts in the silence. It starts in small, seemingly insignificant omissions that accumulate like dust, slowly obscuring the truth. She used to tell you about her coworkers, her mundane errands, her silly online discoveries. Now she's had a long day, but won't say why. She used to leave her phone on the counter, face up, screen unlocked. Now it's face down or glued to her hand like it holds state secrets. She used to post about you, mention you, brag about you online. Now, it's as if she's single on social media, erasing your digital footprint from her life. And again, if you ask, you're the jealous one, the controlling one, the toxic one. This defensive reaction is itself a powerful signal. But what's truly happening? She's compartmentalizing. She's splitting her life into two distinct lanes. The version of herself that's with you, and the version that's starting to slide away into a separate, secret existence. A cheating woman becomes a magician, distract with one hand, deceive with the other. And if you think you're going crazy, that's because she's mastered the art of emotional gaslighting, eroding your self-confidence and making you doubt your own perceptions. Alex keenly felt this shift in secrecy. Sarah, who once shared every detail of her day, now offered vague, evasive answers about her evenings or weekend plans. Her phone, previously an open book, was now guarded fiercely, even taken into the bathroom. He saw fewer and fewer couple photos on her social media, replaced by selfies or group shots that excluded him entirely. When he gently brought up his concerns, "Hey, why is your phone always glued to you now?" she exploded, accusing him of mistrust and being insecure, further eroding his emotional control and leaving him confused and isolated. From a Carl Jung psychology standpoint, this behavior speaks to the developing shadow within her. The secrets she keeps are literally parts of her life she's trying to keep unconscious to you, and often from herself. She is engaging in a psychological dissociation, creating a split between her conscious presentation, the persona of a committed partner, and her burgeoning hidden reality, This act of concealment is a profound form of self-betrayal that necessitates projecting blame onto you, because facing her own guilt is too uncomfortable for her unconscious mind. The Stoic mindset teaches us that while we cannot control the actions or deceptions of others, we can control our own discerning judgment and our commitment to truth. Epictetus urged us to observe facts without emotional entanglement. When you see consistent patterns of secrecy, understand that these are not random occurrences. They are deliberate choices. Don't beg for transparency. Instead, observe the lack of it. This clear-eyed realism is vital for your personal growth and healing. You don't argue with someone who's already halfway out the door. You observe, and you choose peace over chaos. Deep down, you always know. But what happens when this emotional and behavioral detachment spills over into the very core of your physical and emotional connection, transforming intimacy into something unfamiliar and unsettling? Sign 3. The intimacy vanishes or mutates. One of the loudest red flags, a signal that hits you not just in your mind but in your very being, is what happens in the bedroom, or what doesn't, when a woman is drifting. Her intimacy currency, her emotional and physical investment gets redirected. And this redirection manifests in two starkly different yet equally telling ways. She might suddenly become cold, uninterested, distant. Touching you feels like an effort. Sex becomes a chore, mechanical, and devoid of genuine connection. The spark, the playfulness, the deep emotional resonance you once shared simply vanishes. Or, conversely, intimacy mutates. She might become too interested, demanding, initiating sex with new energy, a different hunger that wasn't there before. This is a renewed passion. It's often a desperate overcompensation, a performance, or even a way to clear a surging conscience. Here's the twist. Both extremes are signs. Because when a woman is cheating, she's not just sharing her body. She's redirecting her deepest intimate energy. That currency either dries up with you, leaving an emotional void, or gets exaggerated as a cover, a way to mask her internal conflict. Sex, in these scenarios, becomes either a perfunctory act, a performance, or a desperate attempt to quiet her guilt. But rarely is it real anymore. You'll feel that, not necessarily in the act itself, but in the aftermath, the emptiness. It feels like she's already gone, like you're kissing someone through a glass wall. That's not love. That's a residue of betrayal, a profound symptom of her fragmented, unconscious mind. Alex felt this shift deeply with Sarah. Their once vibrant physical connection had become strangely muted. Initially, she'd become distant, always too tired, her touch feeling perfunctory. Then, in sporadic bursts, she'd initiate sex with an almost aggressive intensity, but the emotional warmth, the lingering closeness, was absent. After, she'd quickly turn away, her thoughts clearly elsewhere. Alex would lie there, feeling a profound loneliness, a sense of being used, and his self-confidence plummeted. He knew, instinctively, that the intimacy had become a performance, not a connection, indicating a significant break from her authentic self and a clear sign of unaddressed shadow work on her part. From a Carl Jung psychology perspective, this split in intimacy is a powerful indicator of a dissociated ego. Her true emotional core, driven by her shadow and potentially a new connection, is no longer aligned with her actions towards you. She's giving you a facade, while her genuine emotional current flows elsewhere. This lack of congruence speaks to a profound internal conflict she's struggling to manage, impacting her own emotional control. The Stoic mindset demands that we face reality, however painful. We cannot force genuine affection or desire. Our control lies in recognizing the truth when it presents itself. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain, but understanding its source. the betrayal, not your inherent worth. Your healing begins by acknowledging that this isn't real intimacy. It's a symptom. Choose peace over clinging to a hollow performance. But what happens when this internal conflict, this rising guilt and psychological dissonance, finds an outlet not in quiet secrecy or detached intimacy, but in overt, often nonsensical, aggression directed squarely at you? Sign 4. She picks fights that don't make sense. Have you ever noticed how arguments suddenly start coming out of nowhere? You forgot to reply to a text while you were driving, and now she's acting like you betrayed the nation. You left a dish in the sink, and now you never listen and she feels unseen. Brother, this isn't about the dish. This is emotional displacement, and it's one of the biggest tells of someone who's internally conflicted, battling their own inner demons. She's angry, but it's not about you. It's about the deep-seated guilt and turmoil she's trying to suppress within her unconscious mind. See, a woman who cheats will often create emotional distance by starting irrational fights. Why? Because guilt is uncomfortable. Being the villain in her own story doesn't sit right with her conscience. So, she flips the script and paints you as the bad guy, making you question your own emotional control and your worth. It's self-justification 101. If you're suddenly cold, distant, or too much, then she feels entitled to look elsewhere. It's no longer cheating, it's coping. It's not betrayal, it's finding herself. And suddenly, you're the reason she had to step out. It's gaslighting wrapped in faux empowerment. Alex experienced this vicious cycle with Sarah. After an otherwise pleasant evening, Sarah abruptly lashed out at him for a minor oversight. He'd forgotten to pick up a specific brand of coffee beans. Her anger was disproportionate. Her words laced with accusations that he didn't care about her needs, echoing old arguments that had long been resolved. Alex, striving for emotional control, tried to de-escalate, but Sarah seemed determined to escalate the conflict, creating a chasm between them. He realized later that these arbitrary fights often coincided with times she seemed particularly withdrawn or secretive, almost as if she needed to justify her own internal detachment by making him the villain. This constant blame game chipped away at his self-confidence. From a Carl Jung psychology perspective, this is a textbook case of projection defense. She is projecting her own unresolved guilt and shadow material onto you. The anger she feels towards herself or the conflict from her hidden actions becomes too burdensome. So she externalizes it onto you, the closest and safest target. She avoids confronting her own shadow work by creating chaos externally. This is not a healthy expression of conflict. It's a desperate attempt to manage her internal psychological dissonance. The Stoic mindset advises us not to take the bait. You don't argue with someone who's already halfway out the door, especially when the argument is a smokescreen for their own betrayal. Marcus Aurelius taught us, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Recognize that these fights are not about you or the trivial issue at hand. They are about her internal chaos. Observe, understand the underlying mechanism, and choose peace over chaos. Do not engage in a futile battle that serves only to absolve her guilt and drain your energy. This discernment is vital for your personal growth and healing. But what happens when this emotional distancing and irrational conflict harden into something even more devastating? When her vision of the future no longer includes you, quietly eroding the very foundation of your shared life. Sign 5. Her future plans no longer include you. This one hurts the most because it's subtle, it's quiet, and it creeps in like fog, slowly obscuring the landscape of your shared future. One day, she's talking about our dream vacation next year when we get placed together, or our future goals. The next those we statements vanish. It's just, I want to travel someday. I've been thinking of moving, or I need to figure things out for myself. She talked about growth, but never says with you, She imagines a future, but your name isn't in the credits anymore. And again, when you bring it up, she'll dismiss it. You're reading too much into it. I just need to figure things out. Why are you being so intense? But behind the words is a chilling reality most men ignore. She's already planning her exit. She's detaching emotionally before she detaches physically. That's why you feel like a ghost in your own relationship. That's why her eyes look through you. That's why your love feels like it's floating in limbo, a silent, unspoken severance. Alex experienced this deeply. He'd always envisioned a future with Sarah, a house, perhaps children, shared adventures. He'd bring up plans, a trip they discussed, an investment for their shared future. And Sarah will become vague. Oh, maybe, or we'll see. Her enthusiasm was absent when he spoke of our retirement. She quickly changed the subject. He began to notice she was making personal plans, a new course, a potential job opportunity. That clearly didn't factor him in, even subtly. It was a slow, agonizing realization that the we he cherished had been replaced by an I that excluded him entirely, causing him to question his own self-confidence and the very reality of their bond. This quiet shift, a profound sign of her unconscious mind moving on, was one of the most painful for Alex. From a Carl Jung psychology perspective, this emotional detachment is a critical phase of her psychological process. She is withdrawing her libidinal energy, her psychic investment, from a relationship and redirecting it elsewhere. Her persona might still be present, but her true self is already enacting a psychological departure. This isn't merely indecision. It's a profound act of self-preservation on her part, often driven by her shadow elements, a hidden desire for freedom, an unaddressed need for newness, or a guilt that requires her to mentally disengage before the physical act. Her inability to communicate this openly stems from profound lack of emotional control over her own inner conflict, choosing deceit over painful honesty. The Stoic mindset offers clarity in such a devastating situation. We are taught that while we cannot control another person's desires or future plans, we can control our response to that reality. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength." Don't beg, don't bargain, because if she had to lose herself to find herself, to redefine her future without you, then she was never truly yours to begin with, at least not in the genuine, integrated way you believed. This acceptance is crucial for your healing and personal growth. Cheating isn't a random act. It's a process. A woman doesn't cheat the moment she touches another man. She cheats the moment she disconnects from you emotionally and refuses to reconnect. The signs are always there, but you have to be bold enough to see them and strong enough to walk away when you do. So, you've journeyed with Alex, from the unsettling whispers of shifting attention to the chilling realization that shared futures have evaporated. You've seen how the seemingly insignificant acts of secrecy, the bewildering shift in intimacy, and the irrational fights are not random events, but deliberate, albeit often unconscious, signs of profound emotional and psychological detachment. Alex, once caught in a web of confusion and self-doubt, now stands with clarity forged in truth, understanding the Carl Jung psychology at play and embracing the discernment offered by a Stoic mindset. Here's the hard truth, a realization often postponed until it's too late. If you let someone cross your boundaries once, you've taught them it's okay to do it again. Cheating isn't a random act. It's a process. A woman doesn't cheat the moment she touches another man. She cheats the moment she disconnects from you emotionally and refuses to reconnect. The signs, as we've explored, are always there, but you have to be bold enough to see them and strong enough to walk away when you do. You cannot heal by clinging to a false reality or by begging for love from someone who has already emotionally departed. Carl Jung taught us that until you make the unconscious conscious. It will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This applies equally to recognizing the shadow within others. By observing these signs, you are not seeking to control her actions, but rather to gain emotional control over your own response and your own life. The Stoic mindset reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength. Don't beg, don't bargain, because if she had to lose herself to find herself, to redefine her future without you, she was never truly yours to begin with. A real man never begs to stay in a space he's being emotionally evicted from. Your personal growth depends on this unwavering self-confidence and the courage to choose peace over lingering chaos. Tonight, turn off your phone, stand before a mirror, and ask yourself, am I choosing to see the truth, or am I desperately clinging to a version of love that no longer exists? Let this introspection be the catalyst for your next steps. If this video brought you clarity, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who's been feeling this energy but didn't have the words for it. Drop a comment below and tell me which sign exposed the most truth in your life, which one hit you hardest. And if you're ready for more raw, deep Carl Jung psychology insights, powerful Stoic mindset principles, and real talks about human behavior to sharpen your mind and truly understand the complexities of relationships, hit that subscribe button. Because around here we sharpen minds, not chase shadows. Your journey to clarity just got real.